to dedicate my set to the martyr Benazir Bhutto, who was killed for standing up for the liberation of the women in her country, standing up against warlords and criminals. Now she's dead. She was one person, now she's famous because she took a stand. Here's a little story. I just mentioned that I was down in New York with Cassie. I told this story, I got a little rushed, but I'm going to tell it again tonight. This was something we put on YouTube. We called it Trash Story, all right? And I had to take it down for a few reasons, but I've been telling it the last couple of days because a lot of people liked it, and I hope you like it right now, so check this out. About 2 years ago, I think maybe it was 2, it might have been 3, I went over to Japan for 10 days. I met up with a tour group, mostly Americans. I just wanted to check it out. I've been to Europe before because I got relatives in Italy, and I wanted to see what Asia was like. And I went there, and I came back, I got this story that I've told a few times. And it goes like this. We're sitting on the tour bus, and we're looking around. Everywhere you look, now this is one of the biggest cities in the world, there's no trash on the ground. Just nothing. They've got this big factory where they're trying to recycle as much stuff as they can, eliminate all their trash. Seems to be their ultimate goal. But there's no trash, no nothing, right? And they recycle a lot. And all the people on the tour bus, we were all raising our hands asking questions. We said, Yoshi. That's the name of the tour guide. Her name is Yoshi. We go, Yoshi, there's no trash anywhere. There's no trash on the ground. There's no trash in the streets. All of Tokyo is clean. We go, do you have some type of strict law that if you throw trash on the ground, you find yourself in trouble? She goes, no, there's no law. Why would there be a law? Why? Because in America, we throw out garbage all over the ground, that's why. Throw it out the car window, throw it in people's yards, we barely recycle, we really don't care. Just throw the trash everywhere. The only concept we understand is that if you're punished, then you won't do it. That's all we get. We don't understand respecting people and not throwing your banana peels or whatever all over their lawn. We just don't get it. That's why we're asking that. She's like, no, there's no law. We like to keep the streets clean. She goes, people will carry their trash all day long with them and then throw it away when they get home or recycle it. That's amazing. Then we look around everywhere and we notice there's bicycles all over the place. Bicycles, 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 bicycles. They're trying to reduce their smog. None of these bikes are chained up. None of them. You will see 70, 50, 100 bikes in a row. None of them chained up. We're all raising our hand. Yoshi, Yoshi. She goes, yes. We go, none of the bikes are chained up. Aren't you afraid? And she goes, afraid of what? Aren't people afraid that someone will steal their bike? And she looks at us confused and goes, why would someone steal your bike? What? Why? Because that's what they do in America. If your bike's not chained up, they steal it. And she goes, well, don't let me get you wrong. She says, there's a little lock on the pedal, so they can't ride away on it. It doesn't matter. Go to any city in America, it doesn't matter if those pedals are locked. They're going to load them into the truck and drive it. It's still going to drive it. They'll get the lock off later. And she said to us, if she put it this way, if you steal a French fry from somebody when they turn their back, you just brought shame to your fifth cousin and to your great-grandchildren who aren't even born yet. That's their attitude. They don't steal, they don't do stuff to each other like that, right? And here we are thinking, how can you possibly leave a bike out and somebody not steal it? But then the straw that broke the camel's back. We see all these little kindergartners walking to school like this, holding hands. And there's lots of them, and they're going like 2 miles to go to school. There's no adults with them. And we go, Yoshi, we're raising our hands. Yes? We go, aren't you afraid? She goes, afraid of what? Well, like, all the kindergartners are walking to school by themselves. And she's like, well, what's wrong with that? Oh, because in America, if a kindergartner walks to school, you're running the risk of someone stealing them, doing sexual things to them, and then chopping their head off. That's why. Because that's what happens every day in this country, and people don't even pay attention to it, and they go get another coffee, and they pretend like it didn't happen. You know what her answer was? She says, well, if you're nervous, one of the 5th graders could hold their hands. That's fantastic. So 5th graders in Japan are more mature than adults in this country. That's fantastic. The end of the story goes like this. I go to get on a plane to go back home, and I got lost. Huge, huge airport. And there's this little bus thing you take. It's like a mile around. I asked this guy, I was pointing on the numbers looking for the plane, and he's like bowing to me, telling me where it's going. He's pointing, telling me where to go in the best English that he could. And he gets on the bus and he's like sitting next to me, he's following me. And I'm thinking in my American frame of mind, I'm like, is this guy gonna jump me? Is he gonna rob me? What's he doing? I'm getting nervous. I get off the bus thing, he's following me, he points to the wall, and he shows me that's where my plane is. The guy followed me like all around this airport to make sure that I got to where I had to go. We don't even understand that concept here. You think that guy is getting ready to mug you, right? Am I right or am I wrong, right? Mm-hmm. So I got back home, I got off the plane, it's the first thing I see on the ground when I got off the airport in America. Nice little Burger King wrapper thrown right on the ground. Someone didn't want it, just threw it on the ground and walked away. I'm like, I'm back in America. That's the moral to that story. You dig that story? Think about the example we set, because there's a lot of people in other countries that are watching us. I'm going to tell you another story right now. This is something right here that I'm going to tell you why I'm going to tell it. Something happened to me twice, and it only happened 2 times. The second time it happened here. And I'm going to try not to talk too loud when I tell this one. I was in a town back home in Massachusetts, and there was a severe problem with the police. And I got on the mic and said something, not knowing that while I was on stage, a fight broke out outside, and this entire police department that I was criticizing was in the parking lot. I had no clue. They heard a lot of what I said. So me and my friend, if you've ever seen what a neat freak I am, you can tell by looking at my table. On this night, now we just rolled everything up in a ball and looked like Sanford and Son's junkyard, and we stuffed it in my back seat and we booted out of there. See you later. Somehow I got my way out of there without them realizing who it was that said that. Second time it happened was when I was here the last time. I don't talk much about the police, but I did it at this show, and then later that night they showed up here too. And Ryan even said to me, everyone was kind of looking for me, seeing what I was going to do. Believe me, I'm in the corner taking notes. Because you want one guy who wasn't drinking, if we all end up in court. I'm the one who says, no, 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 no. We're not a bunch of punks, we're not a bunch of losers. This is how it happened. So here's what I want to tell you guys, all right? Listen to me closely. I've been noticing a lot, like Ryan said, I've been traveling a lot. It doesn't matter what state I go to. I see the state police cutting people off, switching lanes with no directionals, and driving anywhere from 85 miles an hour to 100 down the highway in non-emergency situations, just to speed. What makes me really mad and what upsets me when I see this stuff, when I see them turning without using directionals and all this stuff, I've even seen fire engines do it too. I see them coming back from something, no directionals, rolling through stop signs, parking places they're not supposed to park. This is what upsets me. The minute you say something about that, you criticize someone for it, you are pinned as someone who's spreading hatred to the police, you don't like them, you want to see harm brought to them, and all this other stuff. I have no ill will against anybody. I don't hate the police, I don't hate anyone personally, I'm not trying to promote anger against them. I should not be tagged as an evil person because I see something like that and it really bums me out. I don't have a problem when someone robs a bank and they're running and they got their gun in someone's face, and then when they finally catch up to them, they pull out a wallet and they thought it was a gun. If you're going to rob a bank and do shit like that, you're probably going to get shot. I'm not saying that's okay, I'm just saying. My issue is when I see stuff like that out in public, when they're driving around like that and doing that on the highway, and if we would get pulled over if we did that, am I right or am I wrong, right? And they're just driving obnoxiously, and it really bums me out. I don't get angry at them, I don't hate them, I just get depressed. Because we in this country see people like that, and we have this unlimited faith that these are the most outstanding citizens in the world, and that they wouldn't do something like that, and they should really behave that way. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not spreading hate, I have nothing against them. I don't like when people spread hate or violence against anybody. But you can't have these guys driving 100 miles an hour down the highway and switching lanes with no directionals and cutting people off. It's dangerous, and I don't know how none of these guys have ever caused an accident doing that. Maybe some of you in here are police, or maybe your dad's a cop or whatever. I've had kids come up to me, I think last time I was here, when I said it, and we talked about it, and I told them, no, don't take it personal. Don't take it as an offense. I'm just saying, it's starting to bug me out because I'm seeing people that are supposed to be there to help you, and they get their eyes bugged out of their heads, their veins out of their neck, freaking out over nothing, and they don't look like someone that's going to help you out. And again, it's in situations where it's non-emergency stuff. It's just, I've seen them directing traffic and screaming at people. Again, no ill will, and I don't want to be the cause of people, and I'm not saying it's all police. Obviously, I have to say that. But it's definitely a problem. And I'm seeing it more and more, and it just kind of bums me out when I'm seeing it. And I really think a lot of the police that are not like that are kind of afraid to speak up. Because if they do, they're going to get in a lot of trouble. And it's like that in the job. You can't speak out against the people that you're with. I want to say another thing too about that, right? We got this thing in this country, right? When I'm talking about guys' eyes bugging out of their heads and stuff like that. There's certain things in this country, right? Rod, you out of here, brother?
Yes.
You take it easy, man. Take it easy. It's all good, dude. I'll talk to you later. There's certain people in this country, like people come up to me all the time, they always go, I can be in the happiest mood ever. Like, you never smile, you always seem angry. You know what ticks me off? If I was a gym teacher, no one would say that to me. Like, there's people in this world where it's totally acceptable for them to be like a tough guy and be all angry and not talk to anybody. And they get away with it. And that's not right either. And the way men behave in this country right now, I call them the Wonder Years dads. The red foreman from that 70s show. They're mean to people, they're rude to people, and they get away with it. And we condone it, and we applaud it, and we think it's okay. I got another last little story to tell you before I get off the stage. But like I said, go to my table, take those pamphlets. I got a lot of stuff about child abuse, domestic violence, animal rights, human rights. Look through that binder. You can read a lot of stuff. You might agree with some, you might not agree with some. Check out Casey's artwork. Check out the Psycho Enhancer. They got some Simpsons shirts there. Those things are rad. Definitely check those out, all right? And if you disagree with anything I said, please come tell me, guys. I'm not out to, I don't have all the answers. Everything I'm saying here could be totally wrong, and I'm totally open to it. I got friends of all walks of life, even the occupations that I'm talking about up here today. I've had police come up to me after shows and shake my hand and stuff like that, and it's, you know, like I said, no disrespect, I'm just calling it like it is, and it's been on my mind because I do remember what happened here the last time I was here, and all the bands they want wrapped up, so hopefully we don't have a repeat of that again. But here's my final thing I wanted to tell you, just to be on the lookout for, all right? Keep your eyes open. I know there's some kids in here that saw this happen, and they joined me in and they tried to help me out when this battle went down on the internet, but some of you probably, this is new to you, what happened. Long story short, right? I'm lucky I haven't got my teeth kicked in a few times over the years because of the things I've done when I saw really terrible things happening to girls, and I was the only one who was willing to get in the middle of it and say that's not right. To the point where I've spoken at bars and clubs where every dude in there had a beer in their hand. They were just looking to put pills in girls' drinks or do whatever they could, and I was the one that got up on the mic and I scolded every one of them. And I've almost started brawls at places before for doing things like that. So anyone questions my credibility on that issue, you know, I'm saying that up front before I even get into this story, okay? But I made the mistake. I made the political suicidal mistake a couple weeks ago. And again, some of you know what I'm going to talk about. I wrote an article, and I got some copies of it behind the table if you want to see it. Long story short, there's a group out of California called Live Action, and they're led by Lila Rose, and they're a favorite group of mine. If you don't know who they are, some of you may, a lot of people have an issue with this group, and again, if you do, it's cool. Most of you probably never even heard of them. They're the group where one of the girls who's their leader, she poses as a 12-year-old, and she goes into Planned Parenthoods all over the country, and she says, I'm 12, my 35-year-old boyfriend got me pregnant, can I have your services, and please don't tell my parents. And they catch them on tape saying that's fine, okay? That's rape. They're supposed to report that, okay? If I had a 12-year-old kid and that happened, I'd be pretty angry about it. Well, I wrote an article about that, and it wasn't just about that, but it was based around that. And a few people, and I mean a few, I mean like 2 or 3 people back in Massachusetts got really angry about that, okay? And it got to the point, well, they're mad at me because their whole thing was, Planned Parenthood's a great organization, they help a lot of girls. How dare you said that? How could you say that? And I'm like, I'm sure they are doing a lot of good work. I'm still not cool with that. And where I got the mic and people listen to me and I'm lucky they check out the website, I'm not going to sit around and not say something about it, right? If people disagree with me that I did that, that's fine, that's cool. Might I add, they almost got their funding pulled because the House of Representatives, it didn't matter what side of the abortion issue they were on, pro-life, pro-choice, people left and right were voting to shut them down because they were so disgusted by that, okay? If that's going on in this country, I'm going to say something. That's just me personally. But it got to the point where people were just spreading outright lies about me. They said I was spreading hate. They said I was brainwashing the little junior high girls in my audience, which is total nonsense.
Weak.
Exactly, and it hurt that they would say, thank you, and it hurt that they would say that. It blows my mind, I'm going to finish, Ryan, I'm going to wrap it up now, dude, I know I'm in the band. I'm going to finish with this, right? I don't think those people necessarily were angry at me or had an issue with what I'm saying. This is my theory about that, right? I spoke at the Occupy Boston protest, and I told them this, and I'm going to tell you this again today. This country is so right-wing versus left-wing, and it's disgusting. Everything, it's an insurance policy. This side versus that side, and it means you will never ever have the two sides agreeing and changing the country, okay? They're already calling this protest the left-wing, and then when the Tea Party starts doing it, they're the right-wing. And I said, how about we all get together and turn the country upside down? How about we like make some actual change? But no, it's going to be divided. So my point is this, in closing, it blows my mind that a lot of those people, and a lot of them are extreme feminists, okay? And I feel I am too. For a guy, I think I am too. But because I said that thing about Planned Parenthood, that means everything I did before then was complete crap. All the kids I stood up for, all the things I said that were wrong, all the times I almost got my head kicked in because dudes were going to take advantage of a girl at a party, none of that mattered anymore. I was trashed because of what I said in that article. You have a system in this country where we can all agree on 97 different issues, but if we don't agree on 3 of them, we can't even be in the same room together. And that's going to stop. And I feel I was more a victim of that than anything else. So go to that table, take my website, we're on Facebook, YouTube, you can email me, you can talk to me tonight if you agreed, disagreed, or whatever. If you don't like what I said, go out and start your own movement. Start one against me, I don't care. Because the internet's a weapon in this country, the changes and the things that are happening, people are going to start using their voice and getting active. Those revolutions in Northern Africa and the Middle East, that was done with Facebook, that was done with the internet, that was done with YouTube. Look what they can do with that. You guys are going to do the same thing. So again, let's give a big hand to Ryan for having me up here again. You! All the guys are sucking shit. We got more bands about to come up. All the Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, everyone up here. Stick around for all the bands, please. And I'll be there all night. I got a couple shirts left if you want to check them out. It's all non-profit, but if nothing else, the pamphlets are free. And I'll be over here. Come talk to me and check out my website. Thanks. Peace.